Disney. All they do is win. Oh my God, it's incredible. Yes, it was nothing but good news during today's quarterly investor call, which capped off a whole day of strong announcements, particularly for Disney Plus, clearly the new crown jewel of the mouse's empire. Oh boy, streaming truly is the future of Hollywood. It of course has taken the place of at first VHS and then DVD and Blu-ray, physical media. But physical media was not the horse. The cart has become the horse. This is just crazy how it's changing the business. With the pandemic, of course, also training, and I guess giving some people feel a better option to consumers as to where they want to consume their entertainment. But anyway, this comes right after competitor Netflix, and make no mistake, Disney has Netflix in its sights, failed to meet their latest projections, hurting their stock. But here comes Disney, leaving all their projections in the dust. Wall Street expected 7 million more Disney Plus subs this quarter. The mouse delivered 12. And theme parks, which were obviously hit hard by the pandemic and which people complain about all day long on social media, well, bam, they came roaring back with $7.2 billion from theme parks. I mean, movies are important, but they don't drive this kind of revenue as streaming. They still haven't said what you can basically guess what they're making from streaming, but still, that's incredible. That's revenue and $2.5 billion in operating profit. Again, that's with everyone complaining. We'll get to the complaining more in a moment. But that's how Disney, all that cash, is how Disney can afford to spend almost $1 billion on Disney Plus programming for the quarter. For the quarter, that's how much they spent. But it's still nowhere near where Netflix spends. To give you an idea where the ceiling is on this, Netflix spends $13.6 billion. They spent that last year. I have this later in the video, but I'll point it out here. I had it in my notes for later. Netflix just has to make content for the streaming service, for Netflix. But Disney has to provide content for theaters, their networks, their theme parks, Broadway, and now also their streaming services. So they have to, divide up the pie a whole lot more, whereas Netflix just sticks a fork in it and chows down in front of their television where they're watching Netflix. And fascinatingly, thanks to the live TV package that it offers, Hulu is actually more expensive than Disney Plus for the quarter, and more than double. Well, actually about double. And ESPN Plus is a steal at $500 million for the quarter. And Chapek, by the way, is saying that ESPN, it's true, is getting awfully interested in maybe offering online betting. That does not seem like a fit with the Disney brand to me, right? I mean, will Mickey come and break your knees if you don't pay up? I actually think maybe he would. Disney's very tough negotiators. We hear from their dealings with the exhibitors, with movie theaters. But these days, with all the price grabs being added to the parks, maybe this is part of what the new Disney brand looks like. I don't know. I think that gambling is a step too far, although I've said that on many things that Disney has introduced to the consumer space. Many of you are like, Premier Access, F that. But yet, a lot of people still purchased it, although they do seem to be phasing that out, at least, for the time being. Because they just want to make sure, they want to avoid churn, They don't want you to churn. They want you to stay on the service. So anyway, with all this money, this sent Disney stock back in the right direction. Good news for Bob Chapek is, again, angry fans many of them feel he's taking the Disney brand in the wrong direction, right? And they have bought up stock, like AMC style, and plan a vote of no confidence at the March 9th annual shareholder meeting, pointing to a vote of no confidence being at least partially responsible for getting rid of Michael Eisner back in 2004. Michael Eisner was, he had a great time with Disney for a while. He was doing a lot of good for the studio until he became real unpopular, particularly with Roy O. Disney. But anyway, I mean, you can't get rid of someone if they're doing a good job, right? And so that's the same thing with Bob Chapek, right? And remember the golden rule of business. Whoever makes the gold makes the rules. So as long as Bob Chapek is making Disney shareholders money, it's going to be real hard to get rid of him. So I'm sure he was very happy today to see the stock moving in the right direction. Disney's a special company, though. There's going to be a point where, because, I'll say right now, Disney products are irresistible. Many people are like, I just won't go to Disney World. And they're like, but I cannot do that, right? So, I think it's almost impossible to boycott Disney products. And Disney knows that. But I think that Disney is such a unique thing, which is why they're so successful, that there will come a point where they push people too far. But then they'll just say, my bad, back it up a little bit, and everything will be fine. Because again, Disney is irresistible. I love it. I love Disney so much. It is a huge part of my life as a consumer. And I'm sure for many of you as well, particularly now that it includes Marvel and Star Wars. They are the only entertainment studio that has managed to become a way of life, which is incredible to me. I mean, Warner Brothers has the capability of doing that. If they would just get on their branding, maybe Discovery can do it. But this is all thanks to Walt Disney's revolutionary ideas and the work that he put in back in the day, which put him leagues ahead of the competition. And Bob Iger, Michael Eisner, to be fair, was the executive, and along with Jeffrey Katzenberg, that got Disney back on track post Walt's death. And Howard Ashman, I think, is a big part of that as well, that success. But Bob Iger, he was like hitting turbo for the company, especially with the acquisitions. Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Fox. He created Disney Plus. It's incredible. What a legacy. What a legacy, Bob. All right, so anyway, first Bob won. All right, now it's up to Bob Chapek. All right, I don't know. I don't know if Bob Chapek has the same interests that Bob Iger did. I think Bob Chapek is not interested in being a visionary. I think he's interested in being a very successful businessman. And as long as the stock's headed up, he is. Now let's talk Disney Plus headlines. The big one is a release date for Obi Wan Kenobi. Hello there. Which is not May the 4th, but instead May the 25th, which happens to be the 45th anniversary of the release of A New Hope. Kind of a consolation prize. You're like, oh, okay, I guess that's cool too. And it is a Wednesday that heads right into the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Also, Disney doesn't have a movie coming out that weekend. So, they have Bob's Burgers, but that's not the same audience. So they're like, awesome. This release date announcement and teaser poster, we'll talk about the poster in just a moment, are our strongest hint yet at a Super Bowl spot on Sunday. Sunday. Because why not release the teaser trailer today too then, right? You would have done that this morning. Although that's, of course, against Boba Fett, but you could have done, they released that Doctor Strange teaser same day as Hawkeye, right? They could have done it today. So I think it's going to show up on Sunday. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any confirmation on that, but I think that's a pretty strong bet. Now, as for this poster, I actually don't like this poster. He's a Jedi. Give me lightsaber. Or at the very least, since it's Obi-Wan, give me some sass. I love the sass from Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. Please don't tell me they've removed that, because that was like everyone's favorite. I know many of you also wanted a May the 4th release. It would have been a thing of beauty. But let's be honest, that date seriously crowds Moon Knight and especially Doctor Strange too. Like, they don't need to be back to back like that. Disney doesn't need to stack it that way, right? May the 25th is smack in the middle between Doctor Strange 2 and Lightyear. And Obi Wan Kenobi will conceivably wrap up right before Thor: Love and Thunder hits. So I got to tell you, scheduling wise, except for May the 4th being such a pretty date, it's pretty sexy stuff. Also, since this is another Star Wars adventure on Tatooine about a monk-like warrior keeping an eye on some kids, I think the more space it can get from Mando Season 2.5, the better. And with Andor rumored for December, it's been rumored for December for quite some time. I heard it a long time ago, and now other people are hearing it. I think that means Mando Season 3, filming right now, is probably set for 2023. Same with Ahsoka, which is just casting right now. It was also announced today that West Side Story, now with 7 Oscar nominations. Will it win any? I don't think so. But it's got 7 Oscar noms, and it will hit Disney Plus on March 2nd at no extra cost. And HBO Max too. But Ron's Gone Wrong hit both services, and who knows how it did on HBO Max, because they don't have their numbers with any third-party services like Nielsen. But Ron's Gone Wrong did real well on Disney Plus. We saw it on the Nielsen charts for 2 weeks in a row in the movie section. So I think it's fine that they have to share it with HBO Max. This also gives Disney Plus a nice 1-2 punch, right? It's all about stopping that churn, with Turning Red premiering the week after. Also at no extra cost. West Side Story is a Wednesday at 3 a.m. Are you going to get up at 3 a.m. and watch West Side Story? And then it's very good. And then Turning Red, of course, the Friday after that week. And considering how big Hamilton was on Disney Plus, and news today that Encanto is the fastest title on Disney Plus ever to hit 200 million viewing hours, that means it's faster than Hamilton. That's impressive. Wow, that means more Encanto is coming our way someday. I hope soon. But I'm sure that Disney Plus is hoping that Fox's similarly Latino-themed musical will connect with audiences, Disney Plus audiences, and bring new people to the service the same way, which will make up for it being tied with The Matrix 4 as the biggest box office embarrassments of 2021. Speaking of Latino talent, it was also reported today that In the Heights star Anthony Ramos and BFF of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who of course is Mr. Disney these days, has joined the cast of the MCU show Ironheart in what is said to be a villain role similar to Jonathan Majors as Kang when he was introduced in Loki. So he'll show up in Ironheart and then be a much bigger player in the MCU. I'm trying to find out who it is. Doom? That's my guess right now, because Ironheart has fought Doom, and we all know that Doom is coming. We've heard that they've been casting Doom, but I don't know. Are they going to hide that pretty a face? Although they are also considering Michael Fassbender, and I guess you could say the same thing there. Kevin Feige's a purist. I mean, I think Doom will wear the mask, but that makes it harder to cast him, because you're gonna have to, it's basically a voice role. Although they got good talent for motion capture roles, and it is the MCU. All right, so we'll see who Ramos is playing. And then, of course, over on Hulu, also Disney-owned and part of the Disney Plus streaming package, if you'd like to upgrade, the headline that actually made the biggest noise of the day is that Futurama is coming back with new episodes featuring the original cast, except for John DiMaggio as Bender. And in classic Disney badass fashion, they used Bender to promote the return. Disney, you're so mean. I love it. On that note, negotiations with DiMaggio have stalled. They're not over. And that's mentioned in the trade. So I think that was Disney being like, are you going to really be that stupid, DiMaggio? Are you going to miss your second chance here? I suspect he'll try to come back to the negotiating table, as he's not going to want to, as I just said, miss this party. The first table read is Monday, so his agent better get on the phone. I mean, it trended like all day, like number one for a large part of the day. I mean, that's got to light a fire under you not to want to be the person who missed that, right? Sony just successfully replaced Adam Sandler in Hotel Transylvania, so Disney Fox definitely has the upper hand here. I mean, you could argue that fans would be upset since Bender is a fan favorite, but since the rest of the cast, including Katie Sagal, who's a big name, is happy with the money that's been offered to them, I think it makes DiMaggio less sympathetic. It's not like the whole cast walked out or something like that. So yes, Disney is looking to make this meme right here come true. I love it. With Chapek arguing that there are also still plenty of Marvel and Star Wars fans who have not yet signed up for Disney Plus. Say what now? Although this reminds me of one of you who wrote me recently and said you were very frustrated that Disney Plus was still not available in your country and you were missing all this incredible content, which is pivotal to the MCU and Star Wars larger stories. Well, Bob Chapek wants to sign you up, right? Because right now, only a third of Disney Plus's 130 million global subscribers, a third, come from North America and Canada. The world's a big place. There are 300 million people in the United States alone, although you have to remember that everybody, their family plans, people sharing, but you can have up to like 4 households on a Disney Plus account, I believe. Actually, maybe even a little bit more, right? Eventually, I think that streaming services will crack down on that to squeeze even more money out of it. But anyway, Disney Plus is still not available in many countries, where I'm sure there are many Marvel and Star Wars fans who, like this person who wrote me, are pretty upset. They still have not reached many countries in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and many of those countries they do plan to hit this year. So there could be a big explosion of subscribers, even more so. Although Netflix has gotten up to 222 million. So I guess Disney has 100 million more they could go. That's pretty good. How fast can they get there? Disney Plus is also adding more sitcoms today so that the service can babysit adults just as it babysits kids. But as we can see from Netflix, original content I think is really what is king, what drives a streaming service. As we recently discussed, Netflix and Disney Plus have the lowest rates of churn among all the streaming services. Now, Netflix, of course, is Netflix, the Coke of streaming. But Disney Plus, I think, is successful in big part because of its price. It is the second cheapest ad-free service after Apple TV, and branding. Branding is so big for Disney Plus, to have all that content, your favorite content, the content that gives you the feels right at your fingertips for just one low monthly cost. Disney Plus just needs to find a way now to offer more variety, while not diluting or ruining that brand. And that's very difficult to do. But hey, Bob too, if it was easy, every studio would be Disney, and they're not. So you got to find a way. Good luck, and please don't mess it up, because as I said, for many people, including myself and my family, Disney is a way of life. It gets you in the feels. It gets you in the feels, man. All right, so what are your thoughts on these latest developments in the Mouse's empire? Are you a Disney Plus subscriber? If not, tell us your story. What's it like for you out there? And I mean, by choice? Why? I'm curious. All right, share those. And what's going to get you to, what'll finally get you to come over? What does Bob Chapek need to do to sign you up today? All right, share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today, and subscribe to me today. You can become a member, but it's free to subscribe. And of course, there are more videos you can check out right now.